Welcome, broads. Yeah, she's back. QueenShanShan from A Broadcast Podcast with my esteemed co-host, Devin Carbaugh. Welcome back, Devin.
Thank you for having me as your first co-host on your new show.
On my new show, new and improved. It has been 3 years, and we're back with a bang. We've got lots of tea to talk about. We're definitely spilling some tea today on A Broadcast Podcast, and I am so excited to be back. We are in a actual studio, y'all. We are stepping up the game. We're not taking names anymore. We are professional.
Way professional.
We are professional.
A crew, we have craft service. We have.
Where's my craft service at? Actually,
a car service dropped us off.
That's right.
No, we're kidding, but
we have to thank our new videographer and our editor, Simeon, here, and he has his assistant with us as well. So thank you, Simeon, for your services, and we'll be able to list how you can contact Simeon after the show. So let's take a break. Come back. We have some sponsors we need to definitely admonish, and we're going to come back with some great new tea with A Broadcast Podcast. So we are back. Hello, broads. Shannon, QueenShanShan here. Devin, my esteemed guest co-host. Basically from the very beginning. Let's be honest, Devin.
From the very beginning.
We started the show in 2018.
Was that when it was?
2018. And again, I want to give you guys a little background. Literally, I was with Devin and Danny for dinner a year before that. So 2017.
About that, yeah.
I was just hosting dinner at my house, and we were just talking about podcasting, or everyone was saying that I needed to do something fun in terms of like a talk show, and I didn't have the means or the background and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And then Devin's boyfriend Danny suggested a name. I said you should do a podcast because she wanted to do all of this all at one time. I was like, well, we start small and do a little just a audio podcast at first, and then you're like, yes. And then Danny, he suggested the name. He did. A Broadcast, because it has many different meanings. The name abroad means that I like to travel abroad. I like to do things that not every typical woman likes to do.
Girl is never home.
Never home. Still, I would be a horrible dog parent. I would be, if I ever have a dog, I could never do it.
They'd starve to death.
No. And then back in the day, back in the early 1900s, even beyond that, women were called broads. Okay, it was a derogatory term for a strong, independent woman. So I'm like, okay, so a broad, and then I always have a broad opinions on things, and so Danny, who made this great suggestion, he said, "Why don't you just call it a broad podcast?" I'm like, duh. Perfect name. So thank you, Danny, for that suggestion, and we ran with it. And again, our first show was November 2018.
Wow.
And do you remember we had like 3 or 4 test shows that we did?
We did. We rehearsed the heck out of it.
We had no idea what we were doing.
No idea. Zero. I had zero knowledge of how to produce a podcast, nor did Shannon. And so we just figured it out and went with it.
Yeah.
I brought my computer, plugged in some mics into it.
We sure did. I bought the microphones. You downloaded whatever that program was to edit.
Logic Pro.
Logic Pro.
Whatever
Have you heard of that, Simeon? Logic Pro?
ProLogic. Maybe it's ProLogic.
And you spent, a couple $100 on the program, and you learned it overnight.
Yeah.
And I still to this day don't even know how to use it.
Don't even try. It's crazy complicated. No way. Don't waste your time.
Devin was also not just my co-host. He was my editor and he was my producer, and we got our topics together, and because of that, Devin, I really want to give you some really good kudos because we have gathered over 10,000 followers.
That's amazing. That's good numbers.
It's a very good number, and it's still sustainable. I was on the platform yesterday where we upload the show.
Right. And
it's still to this day getting listeners and people following, and we haven't done anything.
And we haven't done anything in a long time.
Yeah. So basically, when COVID hit, we're going to talk about that. When COVID hit, I had to bring the show to a virtual level, basically learning how to do virtual recordings and shows, and it worked. But then again, I got lost into the mush of it because other things was happening. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it kept people still engaged because we weren't able to see each other in person at that time.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was the beginning. So that was my last show
We did what, 43 episodes together, but
together,
like
and I did the
audio,
10 or 9 by myself
and then the world
with
ended,
guests. Yeah,
and then the world ended,
and then the
and
world
then you
ended.
brought it back during.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
was the
Okay.
virtual shows. And so I think I did 9 or 10 of the virtual shows,
Got
and
it.
then other things happened, and I had to stop. So my last show was episode 53,
53.
53,
So
and that
this
was
is
this
this
is episode 54,
what? Such a good
season
number.
4.
Season 4.
Season
Like
4.
Studio 54.
Yes.
That's a big
Ooh.
old party.
Yes. Good point. So we have lots to talk about. So let's since we COVID is something that we in our generation has never experienced before.
Hmm.
And it was a shutdown of the world. It literally shut down the world. Everyone thinks it was just the United States, which is like, no,
No.
it really was
Do
the
people actually
world.
think that now?
Yes.
People think it's just the United
People
States.
just think, oh, it was just the United States. And well, because of all the vaccinations and
Right.
all the political rhetoric that came behind it. When you don't travel and when you don't, something called read,
Right.
you are in a certain bubble and you think it's only you and your backyard that's happening. That's that the world's crumbling down. No, the world was literally destroyed because of COVID. We heard the rumblings early December, January 2020, right?
That's right.
I remember coming back from Costa Rica, January. I came back and I remember getting a sore throat, and I just took and I was in Costa Rica, and it was just like I had bronchitis, so I took a Z pack.
This is when?
January
Of 2020.
2020.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, okay, I was hearing rumblings about this this really bad flu that lasts 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody's
Flu.
hearing that.
Yeah. Hmm.
Come to figure out that 2 people on our trip in Costa Rica actually got COVID.
They did?
Hmm. Hmm.
What?
And they were sick for about good 3 weeks. We didn't know it was called COVID
No, we
at
didn't.
that time. It was
We
just
didn't.
called a bad flu.
Hmm.
That same month, unfortunately, that same week I came back, my uncle passed away. He had a cardiac arrest.
Hmm.
So that I remember that Sunday when I came back from Costa Rica, my cousin called, and it was her father that passed away. And then a week after that, that's when Kobe passed away, was killed.
Well, and my mom died
And your
on the
mother
13th
died.
of January
Ugh,
of 2020.
horrible.
And yeah, she didn't die of COVID, but she dropped the mic and walked off stage and was like, "Peace, you can have this COVID thing that's coming your way."
Right.
So that was the 13th of January.
That was the 13th of January.
Your uncle passed
Hmm.
right the week after. You were one of the first ones to contact me once my mom passed, and you're always there for me. And then your uncle passed. I think you had to go to
I
Oklahoma,
had to go to Oklahoma.
and then Kobe
Kobe passed
passed.
away, and then it was
Hmm.
just that whole month
This
was
was all
just
before COVID hit.
yeah.
The lockdown was
March
March 13th.
March 13th.
God, that's scarred in our memories
It was
forever.
because we were at a girls' trip in February to wine country, and we were just talking about one of our friends is a nurse, and she was like, "Oh, it's not going to be a big deal. It'll pass away. It'll pass
Hmm.
away." Everybody was saying that.
Everyone.
We didn't have something called lockdown, but we were hearing China was locking down.
Right.
So if China's locking down, what was it going to be like for us? Us very haughty Americans, very nothing's going to touch our country.
Right.
We're protected by the United States and the eagle and God. Um,
Right. Yeah.
nothing's gonna,
Nothing's gonna get to us.
what's the shutdown? We don't shut down America.
We don't.
So that was a big slap in our face.
Hmm.
And I remember that discussion that, oh, we don't need to worry about it. Oh, it's just going to be a couple days. It's going to be a couple weeks.
Right. I
March
remember
13th
that.
comes down,
Hmm.
LA's shut down. The whole country shut down.
I mean, shut down.
Shut
It's
down.
like if you don't live in Los Angeles, you probably you already know about the traffic issues that we have here. If you don't live here, if you live here, you really know about them. But during the lockdown, it was sort of a beautiful city,
If-
meaning like there was nobody on the streets.
Nobody.
That air was beautiful. People were out hiking, walking. That was one of the silver linings from the whole
There was no pollution
thing.
in the air.
There was no pollution.
The birds were singing la da da da.
Exactly.
It was very
They
Mary
really were.
Poppins.
They
It was
were.
very Mary Poppins feeling for a good month or 2 months,
For
right?
sure. Hmm.
Because we were all stuck in the house and we couldn't go anywhere, and people were really legit scared,
We're legit.
legitimate scared. And then we saw the numbers coming in
Yeah.
of people actually dying.
Yeah.
And that was where the reality really hit. And then you just hear people after friends getting it. I got this. It got it got everyone got this guy got COVID. This girl got COVID.
God forbid you sneeze, right? Like
Whoa!
you're like,
Oh, forget
I
it.
don't have COVID. I promise.
Yeah,
You're in a store with your mask on, and you're 6 feet from somebody, and you have to sneeze. It was like,
yeah.
I
It
don't have
was
COVID. I swear,
devastating.
God. It was like,
I remember and also because it was such hysteria. I mean, this is less again. This is 3 years ago.
mm-hmm.
People were getting up to go to the grocery store at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning to get toilet paper because you couldn't get toilet
I
paper.
remember.
That was insane.
It was like a bargaining chip for something,
It was. It was. And it
Toilet
wasn't
paper.
COVID at the time wasn't a shitting disease. We weren't shitting our pants.
Right.
So I don't know why this
what
rush of toilet paper was coming through.
what started that?
I have no idea. The hysterical that we have in this country, social media,
Uh-huh.
it is so stupid.
Somebody mentioned it on something, some thread, and
Get toilet paper.
it was a thing.
Yeah, it was a thing, and you had, and so, and then I remember when the grocery store said we had to let the elderly go first in the morning, and then people can go and wait and get. Remember they had to wait to let
Yeah.
the elderly and then in
Yeah.
front go grocery shopping first.
I literally did no grocery shopping, by the way. Danny, my partner, he did it all.
He did
would
all the
like
shopping?
he was very on top of it. He would made sure that the house was well stocked at the time, and it was a very unique situation for us because
Mhm.
we had two roommates at the time.
Oh, that's right.
So there were four of us, like, potting together, that it was a big house, and it was sort of a beautiful time, actually. I had a big birthday that year.
That's right.
I turned 50 that year, and I was trying. We were just all trying to get through it, and we were planning to go to Italy, and that didn't work out. And ended up having a really great birthday party
On
online
Zoom.
that
Yeah.
Danny did all
And Danny did
planned it
such a
on.
great job in getting you. You were surprised, and you had all
I
those
was
people on
so
Zoom.
surprised. Yeah,
So lovely.
it was so lovely. It was a really really good time.
And we
And
all did this special little cameo video for you as well.
yes, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
We
but
had to be creative in 2020.
we did.
We had to be creative, and God forbid you hang out with your friends because you were lambasted.
Oh,
What are you doing hanging out with so and so and so? Don't you know it's COVID?
seriously.
I got so lambasted when I hung out with my friends, and I'm like, it's only three of us.
We're like, what's Shannon doing over there?
I got lambasted for getting my nails done because I had to go literally FBI mode to go get my nails done. I would get texts like, how dare you get your nails done during COVID?
How dare you?
I'm like, I still need to look fabulous.
How dare
Don't worry
Right.
about it. And my nail person at that time, she had to go incognito. You know, we had to like totally go James Bond to get my nails done at that time because you would be totally criticized for trying to look decent during COVID.
And let's talk about the whole wearing a mask
Yeah. Yeah.
and how you try to look cute with a mask on.
Yeah, you get the eyes done, but forget about the lips and the other stuff. Because as long as your eyes look popping, it's all good.
But girl, I did. I made a ton of masks.
Yes.
Right before it,
You
right
were
after it
making-
happened.
You were making masks.
I was
that's
making
right.
masks like a madman.
You sure were.
I sure was.
You were capitalizing on
I
that.
had my little shop going, and I was turning out masks from like out of LA, made in America. Um, going all the way across the United States to New York City. My masks were across the nation.
They were across the nation. Why not? I mean,
Why
that's
not?
hey, America's all about capitalism. So
That's
let's be
right,
honest.
honey.
So that was an interesting time, and during that time, my mom and dad lived lived in Victorville, so that's about an hour and a half away from LA. So because me and my brother wanted to be very strict, we didn't want to, God forbid, give our parents sick, so we had to take turns seeing my parents and make sure we were tested. So that's so months later when the tests came out, we were able to test and make sure that we're not sick to see my mom and dad. My mom and dad, if you guys remember, they both had Alzheimer's. So let's get into the family dynamic. You lost your mother in January. Do you want to talk? What did she pass away from?
Well, my mother suffered from scleroderma, which is a skin that literally means hardening of the skin. She was diagnosed with the disease when she was 57, maybe 58, and she died when she was 80. So
Wow.
the average, I think, maybe life expectancy with it is maybe 5 years or something like that. But yeah, so she battled it all those years, and in the last 5 years, I'd say it really, really, really. I mean, she went off a cliff. Like every 6 to 8 months, I would say she would be in the hospital, like for long term, care.
Mm-hmm.
And she would rehab, and she'd get out of it and get better because she was determined to live, right? But in the end, it was just terrible. Like, it was like the demise. This is I saw my mom in the hospital bed, and I would be like, this isn't my mom. You know, I don't know this person. She still sounds like my mom if she can actually talk, but it was a horrible thing to see that your your mom decline in such a terrible way.
Right.
It was a long decline, and you know, I think that there's something to be said about people passing suddenly or like you know little less time, but I felt like she suffered, and you know, I have guilt from that. Like, how could I have helped her more? And you know, I think my brother and sister have it too. We all think like, could we have gotten her better help or
Mm-hmm.
better care? Is there something we could have done more? But you know, your life just goes the way it's supposed to go. You know, we don't. I mean, in the end, it's
Yeah.
that's the way it's
Well, you were
supposed to
very
be.
close to your mother.
Very close to my mother. I stayed. You know, I didn't really kind of move on with my life until like 10 years after high school. I'd say because I was very close to my mother.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay near in Southeast Texas to her, so I knew that she was taken care of. But you know, there reaches a point in your life where you just have to be like, love you, mom, but
Yeah.
I gotta get
Yeah,
going.
you got to grow and you got to
Yeah,
experience the
exactly.
world.
So I moved to New York, and you know, a lot of things happened, and
Mm-hmm.
then I eventually moved out here. But it was hard. It was
Mm-hmm.
hard to like be afar and try to manage your mom's health care, you know, from Los Angeles.
Yeah,
So
but
I
you
went home
had
as much as I
your
could.
sister and brother to help
Yeah,
because they still live in Texas.
they were still right there,
Yeah.
but you know, and I know you can relate to this. There's, you know, no matter how long you have your parents or how long you have, in my case, my mom, you can't. There's never enough. There's never enough time. You want du- all that time, and at the same time, you can say to yourself, if I only had like 5 more minutes, I would take
Mm-hmm.
that too.
You know,
You know.
I now I know what you're talking about because now I'm living that. So mom and dad were diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia like over 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Their declined their decline, mental decline, was something that me and Darren had to deal with, and it obviously increased more in their age. So when COVID hit, I wanted to spend as much time as I could. And now we could because I was able to work virtually and do my business and see my mom and dad. And
Right.
at that time, we hired two private nurses to take care of mom and dad because me and Darren couldn't take care of them. They needed more on the hour care in terms of bathing, food preparation, clothing. You know, their ADLs, their activities were diminished. Brushing the teeth was also just it was a chore. And so we hired two private nurses, and they were just fantastic. They're Filipino nurses. I'm telling you, Filipino nurses, the Filipino community,
They got it going on.
they got it going
They know
on.
service
The
like nobody
patience
else.
these people have are
Uh huh.
just it's
That's true.
angelic.
That's
It's
true.
literally angelic. So kudos to the Filipino community because in the Filipino community, they just have this extra heart of care and patience,
They
and
do.
they
I
do.
wonder why that is.
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but my where my dad is now, they're taken care of by a Filipino nursing home,
Hmm.
and it's woman run, and my dad just looks amazing. I'm going to see him tomorrow, and visit my dad tomorrow. Anyways, so during that time, the decline of my mom and dad was happening, and my mom passed away December 1st. It'll be 2 years. Can you believe it?
I can't believe it. No,
She passed away December 1st, 2021. It'll be 2 years, Devin. Where in the world?
I know it passes quickly.
Yeah, she passed away from a heart attack. She had a cardiac arrest. Shocking to us all because we really thought my dad would be the first to go. My dad was mostly always the sickly person during this
Hmm.
time. And this was a shock to me and my brother,
Yeah.
an automatic shock. I won't ever forget that day. My brother called me like around 8:30, 8:40, and he was shaking on the phone, and he called me and he says mom's not responding,
Oh God, so
and
sorry.
I'm getting ready for work,
Hmm.
you know. And so of course I get in my car immediately because they're already in a home. They're in Garden Grove at a home already. And I just remember that just praying.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I know. Here, here. I know it's good.
um
It's you know you need to talk about it.
I do.
Yeah.
And I just remember just praying like, please God, please just maybe she fainted.
Yeah.
Maybe she
Mm-hmm.
fainted. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
this was just, and I called Heather at that time, my
Mm-hmm.
friend, and she helped me. She was literally on the phone with me the whole time
Yeah.
until I got to the hospital. And I remember walking into the emergency room, and the doctor comes into. He's like, "She's gone."
Gosh. I can't imagine that
Yeah,
devastation.
yeah. It was unreal.
You didn't know it was coming. At least
No,
I knew with my
you
mother.
knew with your mother,
You didn't.
but with my mom, again, she was. I. This is where we know that God's working. I remember coming home after Thanksgiving weekend in Puerto
Mm-hmm.
Vallarta with Jago and Chris.
Yes.
And that Monday, I called mom, or that I got home Monday, and that Tuesday, I called my mom and talked to her just literally for 5 minutes.
Right.
Because at the time, mom would ramble,
Right.
and I had to get ready for work and stuff like that. So she's always known for rambling. With dementia and Alzheimer's, she was in delirium. So I
So it
said,
was
"Mom,
extra. It was extra rambling, or
yeah, it
was
was
it
extra
okay?
rambling Tuesday." And so she was like, what are you doing? I'm like, "Oh, Mom, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna see you this weekend.
Okay.
Tell you how my weekend was." And I said, "I just want to tell you I love you."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let it go.
And this is why therapy is so important.
It's so important.
Um, that was the last time I spoke to her. And Theron, he called her the same morning, coincidentally. And he said he just called to tell Mom that he loved her too.
It's so important to say it. Always say it.
Yeah, so we don't know if that was Mom's, if she was waiting for us to call and she wanted to go the next
Yeah.
day.
Uh huh.
But she died peacefully. She was getting a bath from the nurse, and the nurse said that Mom just let out a long sigh,
Yeah.
and she was smiling in the morning when she was getting a bath,
Uh-huh.
and she just let out a long sigh, and my mom said, and she said that that's when my mom passed away.
That was it. It was. It was. It. Yeah.
Yeah, they called the ambulance, and they tried to revive her for, I think they said, for 45 minutes,
Nothing.
and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So and that day was just, it was a nightmare. Coming back and telling my dad. No, my dad is already mentally far gone, but he understood me.
He understood.
He understood when I said Mom is gone, and I
Yeah.
remember crying and screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I will never forget my dad saying, "Oh no!" I remember saying, "Oh no," and he started crying. And then he was fine in 5 minutes. So again, with dementia, we don't know how they're thinking and how Alzheimer's patients are thinking,
How they're
because how
processing
they're
it. Yeah.
processing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, my dad is in La La Land. He does eat every day. We had the dentist come and check his teeth yesterday. He's stable, but
That's good.
it's good.
His
But
body's healthy. His
his
mind is
body,
just kind of.
his mind's gone.
Uh huh.
He's he doesn't look like he used to. The man used to weigh 250 pounds. He may like weigh a buck 70 now, a buck
Mm-hmm.
80. So he's very emaciated, but he eats all his meals. And sometimes he recognizes me and Theron when we see him, and sometimes he doesn't. He
Right.
doesn't walk anymore. He doesn't really talk anymore. His eyes are always closed because he also has Lewy body dementia too. So he
What
doesn't
is
have.
that?
That's like he can't control his limbs,
Oh,
and
okay.
remember that's what
I didn't know.
Robin Williams had.
Oh, he did.
And that's
Wow.
and then he decided to
Not not be around anymore.
in his
Mm-hmm.
life
Mm-hmm.
because he couldn't face it.
I did not. What is it called?
Lewy body dementia.
Louis. Louis body
LEW.
dimension. Okay.
So my dad has all that. So, but he's just hanging on, and we're just
He
shocked.
looks like amazing.
He looks
Like when you
amazing.
said
When I
you post
see him,
photos,
yeah,
he looks like he's chilling,
he looks like he's
in
a
his
chilling.
bed, living his
Yeah,
best
he's living
life.
it. He's shiny and clean every time. The
Yeah.
people who take care of him are
Yeah,
amazing.
he looks really good.
They're amazing nurses.
Hmm.
So, oh my god, I bet I look like a mess on the
You look
camera.
good.
Do I?
You look
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Every time I talk about it, I get emotional. So that was a defining moment for me. And so I've been seeing a therapist. I need to talk to her actually again. I haven't spoken to her in a while. Because we talk about it, we talk about all kinds of things. So I highly recommend, if you guys have a loss in your life, if you need someone to talk to and you don't feel that you may have that solace in your friends or family, please go get a therapist because that's what they're there for. There's a lot of things that I was able to also rehash. I was angry. was also
We
angry.
carry so much anger with us, and
Oh,
it's not good.
how dare my mom leave like that?
How dare her?
How dare she leave like
Yeah.
that? So there was a lot of anger, denial when you lose a family member like that. Um, I was pissed. Um,
Was it? Were you mad because there was unsolved business? Were you mad that you didn't get to have conversations with her that you needed to have with her?
I'm mad
Where was it?
now. Two years later.
You're mad now.
I'm mad now. I'm
Hmm.
not like pissed. I'm. I hate to use this word, regretful.
Hmm.
We don't want to regret things in our lives. You
Mm-mm.
know, my mom and I, we were not the best of friends growing up.
Hmm.
My mom and my brother were bosom buddies. But me and my mom, we were cats and cats.
Two strong females.
Honey,
No, that
honey, we
doesn't
will.
doesn't often
The
work out.
sky, I would say the sky is blue. My mom would say it's sky blue.
Yeah, of course she would. She would need to like get a little extra detail in
It had to
there
be
to
different.
make sure that was
It
a little
had to be
different.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Okay.
had to be
Got it.
different. And then we were just like, for years.
Uh huh.
And we love each other. Trust me, I love my mom. My mom loved me very much. But it's two strong women in a room. Mm-hmm. You know,
It is a thing.
it's gonna be, it's gonna be Congress all over.
Woo.
Speaking of
Yes.
that, we'll get that in a minute. We'll get into the politics in a minute. But yeah, I love my mom. I love my dad, and you loved your mom incessantly. And you've had also a really troubling year with other losses too in your family.
Yeah, I mean, I know that we are running along on this segment, so I know we need to wrap it up.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, during COVID, I lost two cousins as well. My oldest cousin died at December of 2020 of COVID, and then it's speculated that my other cousin died, and well, she not speculated, but she did die in February 21, and it could have been COVID, but
Mm,
we're not 100%
no, for
sure.
sure.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we've all lost a lot during that
Yeah, I've
time,
lost a
and
lot.
we're glad we're hopefully those darkest days are behind us now.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
we will see.
Well, thanks for the cleansing. Thanks for
You are
listening.
welcome.
We had to, a lot of people loved us talking about our family and everything in the past shows.
Yeah, I think it's important for especially people in our demographic,
Oh, yeah.
to like if you're a Gen Xer and you have or boomers or whatever, any generation can have aging parents, but if you have aging parents, it's just important that my message is to spend as much time with them as you can.
Absolutely.
You know.
Let's take a break and we'll be
Yeah.
right back. Devin, during COVID, we had something called the January 6th insurrection, January 6th,
Right.
2021. And that has just made the country just more topsy turvy than it already is. Trump, with his allegations that the election was rigged, still echoes to this day. And we're now in 2023. And this is a man that's being, now he has how many indictments? 93 indictments
I
on
think
his feet.
so.
93
That
indictments.
sounds right. I know it's in the 90s,
It's,
which is technically an A.
can we just
He
go
gets an
to, yeah.
he gets an A in
It's, yeah, he gets
indictments.
an A in indictments. At least he gets that. We have the House Speaker that has been ousted ever the first time in history, right?
History of the
And
United
in the
States.
United States, the House
Hmm.
Speaker McCarthy has been ousted by his own people,
By
his
its
own,
own party.
et tu brute, you
Et
know,
tu, Brute.
et tu brute. So they basically stabbed him in the back, and we have this guy. What's his name? Patrick McHenry. What's his name? He looks like a
He
little
looks like a
guy.
little,
He
I
looks
don't
like a
know.
little guy from the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
That's
he
our temporary
does.
temporary House Speaker Patrick
I love him
McHenry,
with his
and
suit
all
and
he can
like he
do
has
is
the
hit a
gavel.
gavel. All he
Yeah,
does
yeah,
is gabbling.
yeah, yeah,
He can't pass any laws because
yeah.
he's basically a ghost.
Right.
And so now they're trying to vote on who could be the House Speaker. They voted for Scalise, and Scalise doesn't want to do it.
He was like, "Peace.
He's like, "Peace out.
I can't get
I'm
the
dealing with blood
votes
cancer."
exactly, and I've been shot already." So, he's like,
And then what's his face? Jim
Jim
Jordan,
Jordan.
yeah,
I,
aka Hitler,
I don't want to get
basically wants to.
political, but like that is like the least likable person I've ever
But
seen in my
yeah,
life. What is?
100%.
Yeah, there's just something abrasive about
And I'm
him.
sorry I said Hitler, but let's be honest, the man,
Honestly.
yeah,
Hmm.
he has a tirade of stuff that he said in the past, and he had that um, investigation of sexual abuse as well.
Uh, I
Yeah,
know. And
such caliber people in our Congress.
I remember when the January 6th the insurrection happened.
Yes.
They interviewed him like subsequently, and he was like, did you, asked if he talked to Trump that day. He was like, I'm like, what? That's when you're fumbling for words, you're lying.
You're lying.
So,
Straight up, straight up. So we really still don't have a Speaker of the House.
right, sure.
This is what we're doing in our country. It's the biggest embarrassment, one of the biggest embarrassments we had in the last 4 years, and then we are now dealing with this imminent war that's happening in Israel and the Gaza Strip and Palestinian territories, which is horrific. That's happened. It's been now happening since last Friday.
It's been a week, yeah.
It's been a week officially since today is we're recording here on the October 14th. It started last Saturday, last Friday.
Last there in Israel, it started at dawn at 6:30 in the morning.
Terrible on both sides.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's
Killings.
horrible. It's a very, very, very sensitive subject, as we
Very.
know, to like Israelis and Palestinians,
Yeah.
and this is something that's been going on for a very long time. But I've tried to stay off social media during this time, but
It's very hard.
I've taken a peek and saw just the nasty
images.
comments and the
Yeah.
images, and it's just all we can do is like pray for the world and hope for the best.
I don't want to speak on it because I don't want to take sides, and I can't take sides because I'm not very educated on it.
Me too.
But war is an ugly thing, where children are getting massacred.
Yeah.
Massacred. The first day that this happened, that there was a music festival and 250 people were murdered at this music festival in Israel.
Just having a
Having a good time. It just like can you imagine we're at Coachella?
Yeah, and that's the
we're
equivalent,
having
right?
we're having fun at Coachella, and all of a sudden, bullets are
Like,
streaming
you're seeing,
and
like,
bombs and missiles
Rockets go over. You're thinking like
in
it's
Indio,
part of it.
Palm Springs.
Yeah,
That's
but then
exactly what it was like.
they thought it was part of the festival,
Ugh.
like at first, and they were like, "What's going on? This is cool." And then it wasn't cool.
And when we're kidnapped as well.
Horrible.
So they still have hostages that they are threatening to murder, if they don't get their way in terms of Israel releasing some prisoners.
Right.
Can you imagine you're the just the families of these
No,
people?
I can't. I've seen the news stories, and it's just heart wrenching. Heart wrenching is the only word I can think of.
And then of course Israel's retaliating, and so they're killing the Palestinian people. None of this is good.
Do you know that they've
None of this is
ordered
good.
in Gaza? They've ordered in the northern part of it, 1.1 million people to leave within 24 hours. This was as of yesterday. How do you do that? So it's hard all the way around.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Let's talk about let's lighten the mood.
Let's
Give our prayers to both the people down there, because again, we don't know what it's like. We don't know if this is imminent to World War III. God forbid.
Yeah.
The United States is definitely supporting Israel. Again, I'm not what do you call it, a person of knowledge on the subject, but I do feel for both sides.
I do too.
Period. When you're dealing with murder, you have to have a heart. So we pray for both parties, and we pray for peace. So let's move forward.
Okay.
And let's talk about something really, really on our minds: entertainment and social media, because it's so important.
So important.
Trash, pure trash.
Pure trash.
Jada Pinkett Smith. Someone called her on. In social media. They're tired of talking about Jada Pinkett Smith, Alsina Shakur.
Oh, really?
She's been dealing with all these men. She's had these entanglements with these men, and it's just like, we don't need this information.
No.
She comes out 4 days ago saying to people that she has been separated by Will. First of all, this whole started because she has a book. She's got a new book.
I didn't know she had a book.
This is what started the whole thing.
Okay.
She has a new book called Worthy. So she's
Worthy.
on all the social media. She's on all the podcasts. She's on all the GMAs and the Good Morning Americas and everything, promoting her book. In the book, it explains or talks about her and Will, of course, and their relationship, and how it's basically ended, and they've been separated for 6 years, since 2016. Okay,
That's crazy.
Right.
So
I don't think it's
all of
that
that
crazy.
stuff.
I think what's happening. That's what happens in Hollywood. These people
Yeah,
hold their relationships because they don't want it to be.
exactly.
They don't want it to be
Broadcast
exposed.
and smoke screen
Right.
everybody, make them
But
believe
if
it's
you
something
need to
else.
promote a book, Devin, what would you do?
I would
Spill the tea.
spill the tea.
Right.
People was buying that book
Buy
up
that
like
book.
it's like
I
going
want to
out of
hear how.
style.
Yeah. So the
Hmm.
social media is up in an uproar because they're like, we don't really need to know. And then the other side of social media is that you mean to tell me that Will Smith, in front of billions of people last year, 2 years ago, went on the Academy Awards, smacked the hell out of Chris Rock for nothing?
Yeah, that seems to be the news now.
You know, he says, "Keep my wife's name out your mouth," right?
That's what he said.
Keep your
Keep
wife, and you guys have been separated for 6 years.
right.
So
Keep my wife's name out of your
out of
mouth.
your MF mouth,
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And stage, and then goes and smacks the hell out of Chris Rock on stage. Most imminent moment TV history will ever
Do you
have.
remember everybody was like, "What's going on right now?"
We thought it was a
Like,
skit.
what is what's
I
this?
thought it was a skit.
It's a bit, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
for
I thought it
sure.
was a sketch.
Uh-huh.
He really did hit Chris Rock and punch the hell out of him.
Sure did.
He sure did. So that has now tarnished Will Smith's career. He can't even be on the Academy Awards for the next 10 years. He's banned.
As he shouldn't be.
But so people are asking, if they were separated, why did you still feel the embrace of going on the stage and honoring your wife's, quote unquote,
Right.
wife's name if you guys weren't together? And she said on a podcast the other day, she said she was so shocked because she was shocked to say that he said wife,
She was shocked.
that he said, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, because she's like, we ain't really
We ain't
together.
really together anymore.
We're just keeping faces. We're keeping a scene.
Uh-huh.
So she was actually shocked that he said that. More than
What?
him hitting him.
That's crazy when that upstages your
That was her reaction. We're not even married,
slap on
Will.
stage. Nuts.
Yeah.
That,
So
I
the
mean,
kids knew this. The kids knew. The kids kept the secret as well. These are not kids. These are Willow and what's this? Jaden
they're
are
grown
grown.
adults.
They're grown.
Yeah.
Get a divorce and let's keep
Let's
it moving.
move on.
Let's move it. Let's keep it moving.
What was really ashamed about that was it was widely known, that he was basically a lock for the Academy Award, which he won it, right?
He won it still.
And he won it post slap, which was
Post slap.
super. It was like in the next segment, I felt
Yes, he was. Yeah.
of it, and it was just so weird. And he ruined his night and everyone else's night, especially like
Questlove.
the Williams sisters.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh,
supposed
yeah.
to have been their moment too. And it
If
was
you
just
would have
like,
just and I've played that scene out to my head so many times. If he would have just kept his cool and just ha Chris, and winked at him
right,
and said, it made a little jab. Oh, I'll talk to you later,
right. We'll sort this out
MFR.
later. Yeah,
If he would have just kept his cool for 5 seconds,
yeah.
this would not have been a
That
thing.
wouldn't.
And I know that he plays it out in his own head probably 50 million times a day. If I would have just kept my cool.
But would she have a book?
I-
Yeah. So there's that.
Right. That's that. That's
So
that.
It was
So
all for the book.
it's all for the book. Who knows what it was? And then, they had a report. Guess how much Beyonce made for her concert this year?
$1 jillion.
Almost $1 jillion. She pocketed over $580 million
Wow.
on her sales alone.
That's pretty amazing.
That's just on the American sales. They didn't include the international sales.
Do we know how many shows that was?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Mm.
it was obviously U.S. and then the international. She went to all of Europe
Right.
as well. So she made a lot of money. They said that she's the second on top of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, I think, made $1 billion on her
Jeez.
tour.
They both slayed it.
So there was a common thing on Twitter. Well, who would you see in concert? Would you see Beyonce, Taylor Swift,
Uh-huh.
or would you see Nicki Minaj and Rihanna? And what concert do you think would make the most?
Oh gosh. So Nikki and Rihanna as a
As a
duet.
duo, yes,
Okay.
duo concert,
And or
Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
oh, they would make so much money.
I'm
Yeah.
not a big Swiftie. Sorry, I'm not a big Swiftie fan. But if Beyonce's playing, I'm gonna see Beyonce in 2 seconds.
Right.
I love Rihanna. I'm okay with Nicki. I'm not a big Nicki Barb fan. I really am
Right.
not. But if it was a Rihanna Beyonce concert, come on,
And then what if we sprinkled in the Queen
Madonna.
Mother?
The tickets would be $8 million a piece. No
Oh
one
my
would be able to afford it.
I know it's true. That's true.
No one would be able to
They can't
know.
afford the other ones. They're so
I
expensive.
know. I'm going to Madonna concert in Vegas. We'll talk about that in a
Yeah.
minute.
Hmm.
But those tickets actually were more reasonable than the tickets in Los Angeles.
Oh, they were.
They were
Yeah.
way more
Hmm.
reasonable. But I spent, I'm afraid to, I'm embarrassed to admit it. I spent $1,100 on my ticket for Beyonce. I've never spent that
As
much.
one
I've
does.
never spent that much on a concert ticket.
I know that's a
I
lot.
was like, oh, when I got my credit card statement, I was like, oh my god, out of one ticket,
What
one
did I
ticket.
do?
That's how much I love Beyonce. But our tickets were phenomenal. Our seats were phenomenal at SoFi Stadium, and the show was 3 hours.
I know it looked amazing. I got to
It was
tell you.
amazing.
Yeah.
A concert of the ages. It really was an amazing performance, and I'm so glad I was able to go there. We had
Well,
a great
I'm
time.
happy you are too.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what we were talking about in entertainment. So let's take a break, and we're gonna get into another new segment.
Okay, great. Looking
Okay.
forward to it.
Okay. Talking about abroad's broad. So one of my biggest passion is traveling, and that's part of our segment that we're going to talk about today is our travels, my travels, and you've been traveling as well. And so since COVID, it was really hard to get on a plane because as an American, we were only able to go to two countries at that time during COVID. It was Mexico and it was Croatia. Oh, it was also Turkey. So I took advantage and went to Mexico a lot during COVID. I went to Puerto Vallarta a lot. I went to Cabo. I have friends in Cabo, and that was my getaway because I had to get out of the house. But when we were able to, we went on a cruise in Croatia in 2020. Speaking of COVID again, when COVID broke out, I said earlier, Costa Rica was the last official trip I was able to take when
Hmm.
COVID broke out, and that was
That was a
January.
good one. If
That
you
was
went
a
to
great
Costa
trip
Rica, mm,
because
love
you
that
went to
place.
Costa Rica
I
too
did.
in 2020 in
One.
2021.
Yeah,
Okay.
2021.
Yeah. So I went to the Guanacaste area. You went to the Arenal area, right?
Right. We went to both areas, I think.
Yeah, you did
We
both
went,
areas.
yeah.
And you guys
Hmm.
actually rented a car.
We did. We drove
You
around for two
braved it.
weeks all over Costa Rica. I mean, I wouldn't say all over because we didn't go to the Caribbean side.
You went to the Pacific
We
side.
were only on the Pacific side, but we
Hmm.
were like all up and down, and it was amazing.
I mean, Costa
Oh,
Rica is wonderful.
it's like a,
An affordable destination, 6 hour flight. It's really easy to get to Costa Rica.
hmm.
And we went in January. What time of the year did you go to?
We went in July.
Was it really hot during that time?
It was interesting climate because it's very microclimates like California. It could be very
Hmm.
rainy, humid in
Yeah.
some places, and then you go into the mountains and it's freezing.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just like that, like in a 10-minute drive.
Absolutely.
It was great.
So in 2020, in October 2020, I was able to go to Croatia, and this trip was really significant because I traveled in a group in a travel group, and this travel group was one of the first groups during COVID to go to Croatia. So we had our own yacht, our own chartered boat
Yeah,
for I think it was for 12 days, and we were actually on the news in Croatia.
you were.
We were yeah the people that we went to Dubrovnik. We had news channels all over the place interviewing
They
us.
knew Shannon was coming.
They knew, yeah. It was all QueenShanShan's in our country. What? So it was a really great experience, and it was awesome because everywhere we went, there was no lines. Like we went to, I'm gonna mess up the name of this park, Plitvice Park,
Okay.
and it was known for its all these natural waterfalls. It was fantastic, and this park boasts about 15 to 20,000 guests a day.
What?
A
Wow.
day. We and 500 guests were in the park.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
nuts.
imagine going to Disneyland right now and
Uh-huh.
it's only 500 people in
That's a
Disneyland. That's
magic.
what it's like.
Real. That's the real magic
That
of
was
Disney.
a magical moment that we were able to
Wow.
go to this park and it was
Uh-huh.
just us and 500 other people.
Oh my gosh,
It
I
was
love that.
magical. And today it's like it's they said
It's
it's a
back to
shit.
15,
It's
20,000.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
15 to
Oh
20,000
yeah.
people a day because
Uh-huh.
tourism is up and healthy right now. So that was that in 2020. And then in 2021, I was able to, let me get my notes here because I did a lot of traveling. In 2021,
She did. She traveled all over the
well,
place.
there
I
was
was
a lot
so
to make
jealous.
up.
I know.
It was a lot to make up for. You know, in 2021, we went to Switzerland and Lake Como. I've been to Italy now officially 7 times, but I've
Wow.
never been to Lake Como. And also because, Italy is the fashion capital of the
Of
world,
the world.
besides Paris,
Hmm.
I went to Milan. While I was in Milan, I stayed in this gorgeous hotel, and it's a Marriott hotel that was near the train station, and I think it was called the Intercontinental something something.
Okay.
I should have done research on that, but it was beautiful, gorgeous, and I was upgraded. And during that stay, I wanted to have a spa day,
Hmm.
and I went to this hotel that's actually the Bulgari Hotel,
Oh wow.
boutique, really tiny hotel, It also is in the Marriott family,
Uh huh.
and I remember sending you pictures because there was a mall, a
Yeah.
wall of models
Uh
of
huh.
all the old school supermodels that you and I
Love them.
were obsessed with in the
Obsessed.
80s and the
Still obsessed
90s,
with
right?
them.
Still obsessed.
Hmm.
And I remember just spending a day there. And in front of the hotel, all you saw was Ferraris, Lamborghinis,
All
all
the
the fancy,
Italians.
all the time,
All the Italians.
all the fancy
It's
Italians were
Italy,
there.
so let's just have all the Italians there.
Right. And I
Yeah.
just like felt, woo, I felt like I was out of my league over here. I was like, oh my goodness. Because you walk in and you just feel like, you're just amazing. So that was my first time in Milan. And I definitely would go back for sure. We should definitely go back for Fashion Week if we can.
I've always wanted to ask people that go to Milan, and you're certainly into fashion, so
Hmm.
I'll ask you, even being into fashion, did you feel intimidated
Yes.
about how you were dressing in Milan?
Well, okay. I shouldn't have answered that quickly. I felt intimidated, period, because everyone's beautiful.
Everyone's beautiful.
Everyone's beautiful.
Okay.
But everyone also dressed very cash because you're walking in cobblestone streets
Okay.
still.
Okay.
So, for someone to be walking in heels on cobblestones, you're a fool.
Yeah.
You're straight up fool.
Okay.
But if you're going to the famous, Duomo and the shopping center next to the Duomo, people want to be all fashioned because they're taking their
Right.
pictures and they got the cameras out there because it's so gorgeous with the pigeons
Right.
and the birds and all that stuff like that. And then you have next to the Duomo, the very famous shopping center.
Well, I just imagine everyone walking around in Prada. Like everybody's dressed in Prada
Well, people
because
are,
it's
but
just
it's casual.
it's the headquarters for
Yeah,
Prada and
yeah, yeah,
many
yeah.
others. But
But
yeah,
again, when you're going around the whole neighborhood, it is cobblestones, and to be walking in heels and
yeah.
cobblestones, and you're a fool. You're like it'd be painful. So that was amazing. And then so in 2022, I also been to Sweden and Norway, and I went in June.
Oh gosh, that's
And
amazing.
now, for those who don't believe in climate change, you're a fool. You're dumb because Sweden and Norway,
Right.
they don't. It doesn't get hot,
It doesn't.
but it was hotter than Satan's butthole.
It was warm up in
It
there.
was warm because
Hmm.
the humidity was so crazy.
Oh wow.
And we all brought jackets. We
What
thought
were
it
the
was going to be.
locals doing? Were they saying like it's not
It was
ever like
unusual.
this? And
It's
it's like,
so unusual for Norway and Sweden to be hot like that is
uh-huh.
that they don't have air conditioning in their hotels.
Yeah,
They have
I
something
can
called a
imagine.
cooling system.
Okay.
So all of us had to get fans in our room
Oh my
because
gosh,
that's how hot it was.
that's
They don't have air
terrible.
conditioning. So this is going to change probably the commercial climate in Norway and Sweden because our planet is warming up. you
It
know
definitely is
it
warming
is
up.
not they said it was a very fluke week that we were there, that it was in its high 90s with humidity. This is northern Europe where it's nothing but
Northern.
snow and
Yeah,
cold, and it was gorgeous, don't get me
hmm
wrong, but it was hot. So everyone didn't bring the kind of clothes that we should have brought when we traveled there.
for sure.
But I'll tell you right now, please go visit Stockholm.
Is that
It has
amazing?
16,000
Oh,
islands.
16,000. Wait,
Stockholm alone
Sweden?
has 16,000 islands
Stockholm alone.
alone. It's
Okay.
comprised of 16,000 islands. They're tiny.
Uh huh.
Some of them are, very, very tiny, but they're all connect. Most of the main islands are connected by trains.
I did not know that.
And Sweden is just on top of technology,
Oh yeah, yeah,
technology like Switzerland
for
is.
sure.
Smart, smart, smart. Democratic country, and just very on top. Clean. The streets are clean.
Clean.
You don't really see a lot of homeless.
A lot of engineering,
A
right?
lot of
Comes out of there.
engineering that came from there. And when we went to Norway, we went to Bergen, we went to Oslo. It's interesting. Norway had more homeless that you saw. I don't know why.
Norway did. Okay.
Norway did
All
than
right.
Switzerland and Sweden.
Okay.
But I highly recommend. And then if you go to Norway, you got to go to all the museums for sure.
Oh gosh.
You got to
Did
go
you
to.
see?
Yes, we went to the. Mm,
I, I'm sorry, I put you on the spot.
you
But
put me on the spot.
I
The
know
guy,
it's
the very
Scream.
famous,
The Scream.
the
Painting.
the Scream Guy Museum.
Yeah,
And someone's
you
gonna
went
be like, someone's yelling at me right now when they're listening to the podcast.
they are.
They're
Like,
gonna be yelling
it's
at me.
this. It's this.
It's this. It
It's
starts with
this
an M.
artist.
It starts with an M. But yes, we went to his museum. Just for shorter time. Also, New Zealand in 2022 went to New Zealand.
Oh man.
Fantastic country. If it wasn't for their dollar being next to our dollar, I'd probably want to consider retiring to New Zealand
Okay.
because the people there are just so nice and it's such a clean country.
Beautiful.
This year was a definite pinnacle of
Yeah,
traveling.
you've done it.
There, and I was able to honor my brother and take him to Greece.
What a great trip that
It
was.
was a fantastic
Yeah.
trip. I was one of the top producers in my agency, and I was awarded this free trip to Greece.
Even
All
better.
expenses paid, high echelon cruise line. And then
Wow.
after that, I went to Portugal for 2.5 weeks because, speaking of things that has transpired, and since we've been absent from the podcast, my goal is to now live in Portugal. And hopefully in the next 2 years, that'll be a true goal to live abroad. So I was able to actually look at places to live and see what it's like to live there. So that's a goal I'm working on, is to live there to abroad.
Like specifically, it's Lisbon
Specifically
or
outskirts of Lisbon.
outskirts of Lisbon?
Yes, yeah.
Which
Don't
just
really want
looks,
to be in the city.
yeah.
And so this year was a lot of travel. I just got back from Argentina.
I saw that.
Fantastic.
Didn't you love it?
Love it. We went from 100 degrees to Iguazu Falls to 25 degrees to Patagonia
I
at the last
saw
at the
that.
last city of the earth.
And what did
Basically,
you think of Buenos Aires?
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful people, beautiful food. A lot of meat eaters.
What's the
They're meat and
line?
potatoes for sure.
What's new, Buenos Aires?
Yes.
You
Oh,
got into
love
the
it.
mood
I sang "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" every day.
every day.
Every
Good.
day. They had this. They and there's this area called La Boca in Buenos Aires where they have a lifestyle size of Madonna
They do.
of Evita. Yes. Oh, you would love it.
La
You would love it.
Boca. La Boca. That's the
The
bright,
city.
colorful
Yeah, it's a bright,
area.
colorful
Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah. I
and,
remember that area.
very touristy.
Beautiful there.
But they have a couple life size mannequins of Madonna as
Amazing.
Evita. So they have
Miss
to.
Perone.
Yeah, miss. But I highly recommend when you guys get a chance to visit these countries, and explore, because, honey, we don't know what next year is going to be looking like. But if you get a chance, explore, learn, and travel is the best education you can get. Because yeah. So, travel is the best education you can get. Trust, believe me. What do you want to do next year? Where you want to go?
Wow. I want to visit some neighbors actually. I've never been. I've been to Mexico, but I've never been to the real Mexico. And I know it's dangerous, whatever people say it is. But I'd really like to go to Mexico City.
I loved it.
I've never been.
That's one thing I forgot to tell. That's where I forgot to put on my list. I went there this year for New Year's
And
Eve.
you loved it.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Wow.
we'll talk about that offline, because there's some really good restaurants I want to recommend, and some tours.
So yeah, I want to do some
It's
adjacent
only,
traveling.
It's only 3.5 hour flight from here.
That's it.
Easy,
Easy.
easy peasy.
In
Very
Canada.
affordable.
I want to go to Canada. Canada's so gorgeous.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
anyway, that's a
We'll
little
talk
bit.
about that in the next
Yeah.
maybe in the next show.
Okay.
But let's get into our next segment, and we're going to take a break.
What are you looking at?
One of our favorite segments that we're bringing back to the show is the Madonna Minute, honey. We love Madonna, and we're going to talk about her because there's lots to talk about. And what better way to talk about Madonna with the king of pop right here?
Well,
the king of Madonna right here.
The king of Madonna. I've it's serious when I put on my glasses.
It's we have
Yeah.
yes.
I have to read these facts out for the upcoming show. That it's actually she's probably going on stage right now as of this taping of this podcast. She's in London. It's October 14th, 2023.
Yep.
And she's taking the stage right now for her
Celebration tour, her 40th anniversary celebration tour.
That's right. Madonna had a little incident earlier
Yes,
this year.
let's talk about it, because 4 or 5 no, it was announced in March of this year that she had a sickness, some illness, and she was found unconscious by Guy or a family member?
Yeah.
Someone found her unconscious on the floor and rushed her to the hospital. And Guy, her manager for day one, announced it on Instagram that she was going to postpone her concert until she felt better, until further notice. And obviously,
She had a mysterious bacterial infection, and
was it a
allegedly-
bacterial?
Yeah, bacterial infection, and she was actually sent to the hospital in ICU, intubated on a respirator.
Really?
So it was serious. And Madonna's always been the
Epitome
picture
of health. Yes.
Super fit.
Super fit.
Nothing could bring her down.
Right.
Ironclad, but evidently being 65 as she is now, and trying to
65.
be like she was when she was 25 or 35 or even 55.
Right.
It's just not happening anymore.
Yeah.
So here she has this grueling schedule, rehearsal after rehearsal. I think she just maybe collapsed and just needed a minute.
Yeah.
Speaking of Madonna minute, but she got back on track, and she's opening tonight.
She's
for her world
opening
tour.
tonight. The critics will definitely be there to criticize her every step and move. But, she's also dating her dancer, which is 27, 28 years old, right?
Right.
I think she's still
she does.
dating him. So that helps her keep young.
Yeah.
that's another conversation for another topic. But what are your thoughts when older women were dating younger men like that? It's okay for
It's fine.
older men
Hmm.
to date the titty
Right.
bops, but older women dating the titty bops.
Hey, if they're both fine with it, whatever.
Hey,
Whatever floats your boat.
that might be me.
What the-
I might be 80 years old, and my boyfriend will be 20. Shannon got her groove back for
right,
real.
for sure. Like, that is
Don't hate.
not a thing for
Don't
me.
hate.
Like,
He's
whatever,
rubbing my feet.
Whatever you want to do.
He's putting ointment on my knees. It's all good.
That's right. Gotta have somebody to take care of you. Seriously.
Right. So let's talk about if you were Madonna's manager and you were able to set the set list.
Okay, but can I talk about something else?
Oh,
quick?
before.
I just want to say a few facts about
Oh,
the show.
yes, please.
Because I don't think you've read these, but you may have. But these are just some of the facts that is about what the show's about, what it takes to make the show.
Okay.
So there are 24 on-stage performers. Okay, there's one extraordinary drag queen.
They don't name who it is?
That doesn't say on this nude feed. There's 4,400 square feet of stage.
Wow.
The largest for any Madonna tour. And usually Madonna has the biggest stages of anybody. So maybe this is the biggest of all time. I don't know. The stage is inspired by Manhattan with Uptown. It's like a grid system. Downtown, Midtown, East, and West stages.
Okay.
So it's like a whole
Like
village
theater.
setup. Yeah. 8 humidifiers in Madonna's dressing room alone. Okay. So 1 bottle of MDNA Rose Mist, which is her spray makeup. 3 traveling mobile gyms. 15 countries.
3 traveling mobile gyms.
3 traveling mobile gyms.
3 of them.
Gyms. 3. 15 countries, 78 shows, 50 merchandise items, including vintage recreations of iconic items from previous tours, such as the Blonde Ambition bomber jacket, which I'm getting. 45 wardrobe trunks. 45.
45
And they're like the size of a building.
There probably will be.
45. 1 queen size Madonna flag outside the O2 arena in London. Let me skip through some of these. 3 physical therapists. 4 of Madonna's children are on stage, by the way. 40 pairs of boxing gloves. I don't know why. I guess they're fighting a lot. The list goes on and on and on. And just so you know, just to like kind of recap for you youngins out there, like Madonna is the highest selling female artist of all time, and only second to the Beatles and maybe Elvis. So she's sold over 330 million albums worldwide.
Wow.
So say what you will about her, but she's still reigning, and
She still
going on
reigns,
stage.
and she's still the queen of pop.
Yeah. So anyway, I know that's longer than a Madonna minute, but it deserved its time.
Well, if
you wanna do
I
this-
want to talk about
the song.
the set list.
Yeah, yeah.
They haven't published the set list yet, so we don't know exactly what songs are going to be on the show. But if you were her manager and you were like,
If I'm Guy,
if you're Guy and I'm Madonna, I'm going to say my choice would be Everybody
the opening
Get Up.
song.
That would be my opening song.
Dance and sing.
That would be because that's going to get the crowd going, and that was her first OG. That was her first OG, and of course we're going to want to see because this is 40 years of her music, so she's going to play the OGs. She's going to do like a version. She's going to do Celebration. She's going to do Vogue. She's going to do Express. She's going to do that. She's going to probably do Rain. She's going to probably do Frozen. She definitely is going to do music.
Certainly. She can do them all. I mean, she's probably gonna do them all. And I've been told that like a hit doesn't have to be a song. So,
What do you mean?
So they're doing wardrobes. They're doing like moments in time,
Okay.
culturally in time that Madonna inspired, that she set the blueprint for. So she's going to sing a lot of hits, but there's also going to be hits. For example, when she dressed like Marie Antoinette for the
MTV.
Vogue for MTV, there's going to be a thing of that.
Oh, because
that's
that
a
was
moment.
iconic.
Yeah.
Do
So
you think she's
iconic.
going to come out with also the wedding dress for like a virgin?
Yeah, of course.
She has
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
because that's what set the tone for her. That was
Sure.
such an iconic moment. 1984, 1985,
84.
coming out singing a very provocative song,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming out in a wedding dress and sprawling on the floor.
Chasing her shoe, which we didn't know she had lost her shoe until years later. She was just like literally trying to get her
Talk
shoe
about
came off.
iconic.
Yeah. iconic.
Legendary.
Legendary.
So you guys want to talk about Madonna all you want, be haters, whatever, but she's the blueprint. She really is the blueprint, and we have to give her flowers for that. So I'm going to a concert in Vegas in March because it was postponed,
Hmm.
and I cannot wait. I'm bringing my two best friends with me.
And we'll be going to the show either here or in maybe in Mexico City.
Ooh,
But I think for my show, for if I was like, I'm gonna open, I'm Madonna, and I'm telling my manager, I'm gonna open with this song. It's a lot different than yours, but
what would it
it's
be?
literally one of my favorite songs of hers of all time. But it would be, and it's kind of the moment what happened with her, Live to Tell.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Get a little ballad.
Get a little ballad.
Get
The
her
first
get her
song.
get her voice warmed up. You know how
Okay.
Beyonce did
Like
that whole like warm
like
up
Beyonce
thing.
did. Beyonce came out with three
Hmm.
ballads. She
Yeah.
didn't come out dancing. She
Nope.
came out and set the tone.
Yeah. Set the tone.
I can
Live to
sing,
tell.
y'all.
She
You know.
lived to
Yeah.
tell because she may have died and
Ooh.
was brought back. You know. So
Ooh.
that's where I'm going with that.
All I know is that I know I'm not gonna have a voice after this concert. I didn't
No,
have a voice after Beyonce. I was hoarse for 2 days. I'm gonna be hoarse for 2 days after this
for sure.
concert because I'm gonna be screaming my butt
We'll be
off.
texting each other a lot.
100%. And that's your Madonna minute. So as you guys know, of a broadcast podcast, we're about food, booty,
Booty. We are about booty.
Not about we,
but
okay.
that's
We're
another,
about booty.
That's another show.
Food, beauty, travel, and culture. And so, real quick on the food topic in Los Angeles,
Hmm.
again, during COVID, we've seen a lot of restaurants fade away, but we've
Yeah.
also seen a lot of restaurants build and become very popular here in Los Angeles. I had the honor, Devin and his partner Danny took me out to dinner. You said it was 10 months ago. It's unbelievable how
It was
time
last
flies.
December.
What?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I know.
We went to
Mother Wolf.
Mother Wolf by Evan. What's his name? Evan,
Oh,
the chef.
yeah, Evan.
Ugh,
Yeah, Evan.
Evan. Really world famous.
Funky.
Thank you, Evan
Evan
Funky.
Funky.
He is a Michelin star chef, and one of his many restaurants that he opened last year was called Mother Wolf. Right.
Yes, and
Fantastic. If you get a chance to visit Los Angeles or you live in Los Angeles, please visit his, if you can get a reservation, because even now the reservations are still 3 or 4 weeks out
yeah,
if you're lucky
and it's
on a weekday.
Do you, and I don't know if you knew it until we ate there, but I didn't know it. I didn't know this until we ate there. It's Roman. It's actually
Yes.
Roman food, so it's specifically Roman Italian food.
Mm-hmm.
And that Mother Wolf comes from the name of the twins
Yes, the
that
god.
were raised by wolf.
Romulus and,
Yes.
his twin name, forgot his
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
So
Who was raised by a wolf.
wolf.
And yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where it comes from. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm learning history too.
Yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
food and history.
Beautiful restaurant, gorgeous decor,
Mm-hmm.
and actually reasonable pricing.
Yeah,
it wasn't that
it was not bad.
expensive. Yeah, so definitely visit there. And then this other restaurant I'm going to definitely recommend. It's been a while. It's been a minute, but I was able to visit a couple times in Hollywood. It's called Beauty in Essex. Gorgeous style
What-
restaurant.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
It's American fusion.
Okay.
They do have some ethnic foods there, but they have this great grilled cheese and tomato bisque dish that's
Oh.
to die for.
Okay.
And it's on the pricey end, but you get a chance to see that because we go there to see shows at the Pantages, and it's like literally around the corner from the
Okay.
Pantages. So get a chance to see visit Beauty in Essex, and Beauty in Essex, we would love a sponsorship. Just
Ooh,
FYI.
I like the name.
Yeah, it's a beautiful restaurant. And then we're going to talk about also beauty and fashion. Pharrell Williams is now the new creative director on the men's line for Louis Vuitton. You're a fashion person just like me. He has done a great job in reinventing the men's creative side of Louis Vuitton. He had a fantastic fashion show that happened 4 or 5 months ago and brought up some new designs. And we're looking forward to the new 2024 spring and summer collection. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, as far as appointing, hip hop musicians to be the head of a let's face it, Louis Vuitton's probably the biggest fashion brand in the world. I'm not so sure I'm down with that, Pharrell. Like
You don't think so?
Being him
But
being.
have you seen his designs? Have you seen what he's bringing to the table?
I have. Don't love them, but I love him, and I think he's very fashionable. It's just like, I think people work really hard their entire life to become a creative director of a storied brand such as Louis Vuitton. What I mean by that is they or in that lane.
Yes.
Like just that is what they live for and die for. And then just to like pluck Pharrell Williams to be the creative director of a brand because you think it can sell you even more clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it, but I don't feel like
You want the organic fashion
yeah,
design creative director who came
right.
from training,
Yeah.
came from being a fashion designer to be in that seat.
Yeah.
It's only fair. It's fair.
That's the designs are very beautiful and I love nothing. He's a genius.
Hmm.
Nothing to take away from him on that, but like, you're a producer, you're a musician, and now you're doing clothes. So
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know.
that happens with a lot
I
of
mean, look,
celebrities.
and that's coming from a guy that likes to do a lot of things. So,
Yes.
um, don't 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 lean in too hard to what I'm saying about that. But I just like that's just kind of how my
Got it.
gut
Got it.
initial
And
reaction
that's
to it.
fair.
And it's beautiful stuff.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Hmm.
Binge-worthy TV. Now, you've been busy, I've been busy, but I've been traveling, so I've been able to catch up on these
Uh
shows
huh.
because, Netflix lets you download the shows on the plane and you could watch them later. Have you been watching Love is Blind?
Well, somebody gave me some homework to do, and so I started it, the second season, to
Fifth
see.
season.
Oh, the second. Oh, I thought it was the second.
This is
Sorry.
the fifth
The fifth,
season.
the fifth season. Well, maybe I started the second
Did
season.
you start the second season?
Maybe
I
I
asked you
did.
to watch the fifth season. This is
think.
the hot season right now.
What are the guys and girls' names on the show?
Oh my goodness, Milton, Uche,
Is there a
Izzy,
Brittany? Izzy. I think I remember it.
bald guy, good
Yeah,
looking
I
guy.
think I remember him. Okay, so
So
I
that's
did.
this season.
I did watch the fifth one. So I started the episode.
Okay.
And I watched it. It's very straight. So and that's okay. So like I just didn't really relate to it in the respect of
Yeah.
dating and like how do you pick somebody out of that and
Is love
how
really blind?
is love really blind? I don't know. I just couldn't. I didn't get too far.
Well, this season was messy.
Uh-huh.
This season was messier than the other seasons because there was a lot of backstabbing. There was more conversations in terms of the people who felt they got jilted in the pods versus getting married. So this season was more gossipy,
More
and
gossipy.
it was. I'm gonna be honest. It's entertainment worthy.
Yeah.
It keeps your gaze.
Right.
It keeps you engaged. So I'm not going to spoil anything who hasn't watched it yet. But the weddings were yesterday, on Friday, and then the reunion is tomorrow. Girl, getting her popcorn ready, getting her Reese's Pieces ready. I cannot wait.
So there are weddings that come out.
There's
of it.
weddings that come out of it if they say yes or they say
So there
no.
could be no's. Is there any no's in any of the seasons?
Of course.
They're like a no, like the whole
they
season's
get
shot.
they get the wedding. They're at the freaking altar and they actually say no.
I would do it too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I would be the
And
runaway
that's
groom.
the cliffhanger.
Mhm.
And so tomorrow is the reunion. I cannot wait.
Okay.
And then I've been watching a show on Apple Plus called Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
So gorgeous scenery. I think he's absolutely gorgeous. His name is Lee Pace. He's been in a lot of
Okay.
movies. He's in like The Hobbits, and he's he was in Avengers as a bad guy.
Right.
Very
It's a
good looking,
beautiful,
statuesque man.
Beautiful show.
Yeah, beautiful show. Start watching that, and then I just finished yesterday and binged it because I was home working home. The Fall of the House of Usher on
Can't
Netflix.
wait to watch it. It looks beautiful.
Ah,
Edgar Allan Poe? Are
Edgar
you
Allan
kidding
Poe,
me?
honey. Yes, it's based on his poems and his writings.
Yeah.
And it's about a family who's this uber rich family. Obviously, everyone's diabolical. The dad's even more. It reminds you of an updated Dynasty or Dallas,
Oh,
but with sex.
wow.
Okay.
Right.
Manipulation, greed,
Ugh.
backstabbing, but a little bit of scare. A little bit of scare with it. And I couldn't stop watching it. It's only 8 episodes.
Okay, what is it on? What
It's on
platform?
Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Okay.
The Fall of the House of Usher, and each episode is named after each title of his poems. So The Raven, The Black Cat, Leonore, all of his famous writings are each episode.
Is it from the producers of The Haunting of
It's
Hill House?
the same producers and same director, Mike Flanagan.
Oh,
who
Flanagan did this one.
Mike Flanagan
Okay.
did this. So think of Midnight Mass.
Midnight Mass.
Think of The Haunting of Hill House,
Mm.
and think of House of Bly Manor. That feel.
All fantastic.
The actors
Uh-huh.
are the same too.
They are?
Honey,
Does
he got Carla.
Elliot comes back?
He got Carla Gugino
Carla,
back,
she's
and
back.
she reigns in the show.
Okay.
she reigns.
Amazing. She's the reigning queen. Of
She's
that
the reigning
series,
queen on
that-
this.
That whole.
Yes, and so it's just a great, crazy roller coaster ride. and there's little scare jumps in there, but it's mostly drama and just like it again. It reminds you of a dynasty, Falcon Crest. You know, so everyone has to have a that villainous man and villainous dad
For sure.
all up in it,
All up in it.
all up in
I
it.
can't wait to watch it.
Please
We're gonna
watch it.
start it.
So that's my recommendations for some TV binge watching, y'all. Get on it. I'm telling you, well,
Especially Halloween time, right?
especially during
Especially
Halloween time.
Halloween.
Speaking of Halloween, real quick, you and your man are watching a scary movie every day this month for Halloween.
That's right. We do it every year, so this is our like fourth year, I think, doing it.
Yes,
And so today's October the 14th. So guess what we watched last night?
October the 13th. Jason,
Close, but drop the month and add the day.
drop the month and not the day.
Uh-huh. So it's Saturday. Today's Saturday. Sorry,
Today's
I forgot to
Saturday.
say
Oh,
that.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
That's right. Okay.
Part two. I actually prefer two to the first
I
one.
never watch any of them. They're so
You've
dumb
never
to me.
watched
They're so cheesy to me.
Come on, they're slashers. They're classic. Speaking
Every
of
episode,
Blueprint,
it's the same. They just slashing
of
young people on
course.
campsites.
It's the slasher movie.
I need variety.
So part two. So if you do watch them, part two is better than one, I think. You might disagree with me, but
Ain't into it.
there's also 95 other ones that you can watch if you don't like that. And
I'm not a slasher
I think,
queen.
oh, sorry. Jason, I think even marries like Michael Myers at
You're lying. Shut up.
on one of the,
No.
parts or something
Stop
like that.
it.
I don't know. But yeah, it gets kind of crazy. There's a Jason versus Predator, later on.
There
I
is?
think so. I think that
A
really
Jason
happened.
versus Predator?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. So that's totally cheese to
It's
me.
called Cha-Ching. Cha-Ching.
Yeah, money.
Gonna make some money.
All right. Well,
So anyway,
enjoy your month of scares.
I will.
For sure.
I will.
All right. We'll be right back.
Shannon, there's some big news out there.
What?
Okay, so did you know that UFOs are now called UAPs?
Not UTIs?
No, no, those are curable. This is not. Okay, so do you know what it stands for?
What does it stand for?
Unidentified anomalous phenomena. Okay?
Why anonymous?
Anonymous. Let's see. Let me make sure I have
Anonymous?
anon. I can't even say it. Let's start over. Unidentified.
Oh, we gotta keep that.
Anomalous. Yeah, I said it right.
Anomalous.
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 What does that mean?
Nobody knows.
And then what's the third word?
Phenomena.
Phenomena?
Uh-huh.
Not phenomenal or
No,
phenomenon.
phenomena.
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
And why are we being PC with that? Do the aliens really care what we call them?
Well, I don't
What's
think
the
they do,
PC?
but it's the government, I think, like saying like, okay, you can't call them UFOs anymore.
I can only roll my eyes so much far in my back of my head right
I know,
now.
right? Because forever we've known there's UFOs, right?
Yes.
I saw a UFO in 1979
You saw a UFO. When did
100%.
you see it?
when we were moving back from Colorado to Texas in the summer of 1979. And it was me and my brother and my mother were in one car, and then my sister and my dad were in another, like the old school back in the day U-Haul vans. So they were miles behind us, and we were in Colorado driving, and all of a sudden we saw this UFO in the sky, and it was legit. It was like it felt like time had stopped for a second, and not even for a second, like for a long time. Okay, like time wasn't anything. It was just stopped. And it felt like the car stopped. It felt like everything stopped. We looked up at the sky, and there was this, stereotypical disc with lights around it, and kind of like cruising along with us. And then, boom, it was gone. Just gone. It vanished. Just like, it kind of sped up ahead of us, and then boom,
Is this
gone.
during the day or at night?
It was at night. It was at night. So we didn't talk about it forever. Like
Why?
my family's very, Christian, and like they don't talk about things like that. We told my dad and my sister they didn't see it, but we did. And years later, we all finally admitted that we saw a UFO, and that's what it was. And anyway, it happened. The point of my segment is that we're finally starting to acknowledge as a country, as a society, that we might not be alone, even though we don't have the tangible, like take me to your leader proof. There are things that have showed up in our solar system lately that might be sort of some evidence of we're not alone.
Let's be honest, the government has admitted that this year,
That this
that
year,
there is significant evidence
yeah,
that we are definitely not alone.
that's right.
I was like, we knew, we've been new. We knew you guys were hiding it. We know about Area 51. There are probably all kinds of spacecrafts in the desert right now, in the Earth, 100 miles down,
Hmm.
where you guys have already been hiding ET.
That's right. Do you know about Oumuamua?
No, talk about it. What's that?
Okay, so Oumuamua is the first interstellar object that we have found in our solar system.
What does that mean?
So Oumuamua means that it's a Hawaiian translation for I think it's distant traveler or visitor. And so what happened was I can't remember the telescope's name, but it's on Mount Haleakala in Maui. You've been up there. That telescope that's up there. This telescope noticed this object moving sort of erratically through our solar system
Hmm.
and was like, what is this? And so they got better details of it. It was like at the time that they discovered it, it was October 19th, 2017 is when they discovered it. So it's very new. It was sort of like oblonged, cigar shaped, and it started raising speculation about this is interstellar. This isn't from our solar system. Meaning it's it came from the space that is out of our Oort cloud. Is like the very edge of our solar system. At the very edge of it, then starts interstellar space.
Hmm.
It came from out there. It belongs to another star system.
Mm.
So it came into our our
This is
planetary
scientifically
system.
proven.
Yeah, it's totally scientifically
Okay.
proven. This thing came in and it's traveling at these weird rates. It can go fast, it can go slow, it can speed up, slow down. So that's like we can do that with our
That's quite
spaceships,
incredible.
right? So they're like,
So
this
you're saying
isn't.
it might be on its axis as well,
It
spinning,
spins differently. It's and subsequently they've changed their description of like how it's shaped. It's still
like a
oblong,
skinny.
but it's more like of a pancake structure. It's
Okay.
super flat, like
Got it.
a disc maybe.
Okay.
But it left the solar system and thought to be never seen again, like 2 years ago. Well, guess what? It's coming back.
How do they know it's coming back?
It's coming back. They've been following it since it left our solar system.
Do you?
So it's on its way back, and they thought it was just going to keep on going because it was on this really odd orbit. No, it
Do
wasn't
you?
on an orbit at all. It was
What are
just
your
passing
thoughts?
through.
Do you think it could be a satellite? It could be a camera. It could be the actual
Yeah,
spaceship.
I mean, it could be a probe, and they
Could
think
be a
it's
probe.
like a probe. Like we
Checking us
sent
out.
out a drone. We like Voyager 1 and 2 that we sent out in the 60s or maybe early 70s.
Hmm.
It's one of those. That's what they think. Um, so it's just kind of like checking out the universe, seeing what's happening. But it didn't have any specific elements that it was putting out, like like a comet can be mistaken
Mm.
for these things. But
Mm.
comets have a tail, and they're like emitting like
Gases.
gases and stuff. Um, what I watched last night, just on a warm up for this, was like they now think it could be part of a another solar system that okay, so planets crash into each other, exoplanets can crash into each other and make all this debris.
Okay.
They think it might be a particle of an exoplanet from another star system
Mm.
that splintered off and like is heading here because it's made of nitrogen
Mm.
ice, which is what Pluto's made out of.
Okay. Okay.
So look, just speculation. It could be the first sign that we are not alone,
Mm-hmm.
but we still don't
I
have all
don't
the
think we've
details
ever
yet.
been alone, to be honest with you.
No, we haven't.
There's too many. There's too many phenomenons. There's too many people saying I've seen things, or even in today's world, and 30, 40, 50 years ago, people were saying that.
Hmm.
Let's be honest. People are speculating that aliens really helped the Egyptians build the
That's right.
pyramids,
Hmm.
and there are alien-like images on the structures in Egypt. When I went to Egypt in 2019, there was actually alien-looking heads on some of the structures, and Abu I forgot that city called. Um, like how would they know what? How would they know that fixture? Because they were every image in Egypt is human images.
Yeah.
But why would they have an alien looking face? Was it a god? Was it one of their gods that they worshipped? Because they worshipped a million gods at that time. So, but it was very unique with the alien shaped and the oval eyes. Come on.
Because they knew something.
Was that a stamp that, E.T. was there helping him out with the pyramids? Who knows?
Possibly.
That was 7,000 years ago. So,
Well, there's new evidence too about the James Webb telescope that's sent up last year.
hmm
It's sending back all kinds of photos of our universe, and they are starting to maybe speculate that the Big Bang theory was actually wrong, or not actually
mm,
wrong. It's but okay, that theory speculates that the universe is about 13.8 billion years old.
wow.
Okay, our part of the universe, the Milky Way, was allegedly created in the third leg of the creation of the universe. So it's the third quarter. So I'm sorry, the last third of it. Okay, so which means we're very young. We're only like the Earth only like 4.6 billion years old. Okay, only, but
Only.
the universe, what they speculated from the Big Bang was 13.8. So if you look at that, Earth is very young still, our galaxy, but they think it's wrong. They think it could be double the age
Wow.
or even more.
How do
So,
you do that? I guess it's all about math.
well, we have all this data coming back from this telescope now that's
Yeah,
telling us way more than we ever thought was
it's
imaginable.
incredible.
So the Big Bang theory could be wrong, timeline wise. So the universe could be 30 billion years old.
Mm, mm, mm. That's
And
incredible.
so if you have that much of a jump on, you know, evolution, and we've been around, the Earth has been around 4.6 years, billion years,
4.6 years.
4.6 billion years,
Yeah,
and
supposedly.
humans have only been on it for less than 4 million years.
hmm
Do the math.
hmm
Like if a civilization's that
If
far
you
ahead
if
of
you
us,
believing in the
hmm
evolution,
yeah,
the creationists will definitely argue
challenge
with
that.
you. Yeah, they're gonna
Yeah,
say, "Well, we've only been on the Earth for 7,000 years."
yeah,
That's a whole new topic.
yeah,
My mom would be on that topic too.
sure.
The Bible says,
Uh huh.
you
I
know,
raised my hand in Sunday school too. I was like, "Are you sure about that?" So
we're
anyway,
not gonna go
we
there.
won't
That's a
go
whole
there.
different
But
topic.
yeah. But anyway, that's my little segment about. Oh, I wanted to talk about what's
Yeah,
happening in the universe,
yeah.
not just the world, the
The
universe.
universe. Well, that's a good topic, and keep on it. So we'll
Hmm.
have some updates on that. Just in case we do get some visitors, we can actually get them on the show and talk about how do they come to be, and maybe they'll be our first guests
I
as
mean,
well.
that'd be amazing.
All right, we'll be back. So we are back, and I had the best time as well, always with you, Devin.
Oh my gosh, this has been therapy. It's been
Right?
fun. It's been so many things to me.
It's given back some good memories, right?
Yeah,
I'm
so
so
many good
glad.
memories.
Thank
Thank you
you
for having
again
me.
for being here.
Hmm.
Real quick, if you guys remember, before COVID, we had Andrea Bernholtz. I'm always messing up her last name.
That's like my name too.
Uh,
People butcher it.
Andrea. She was the one of the co-founders of Rock Republic Jeans many years ago, and she was on our premiere season, first season. I forgot what episode that was, but it was a great episode. It
It
was
was
a
a
two part.
two-parter.
Two-parter. It was such a good episode.
Uh-huh.
Guys, look that up. It was Andrea Bernholtz, and when she was on the show, she was actually starting her new business, new company called Swiminista. Wow. It just so happens Devin is now working with Miss Andrea as the COO.
COO, yeah.
COO of the company. We have full circle moments here, honey. So Devin, tell us real quick about how Swiminista is going. How's it like working with Andrea, and what's going on with the swimsuit swimwear company? What's going on?
So thank you for remembering to bring this up. Yeah, I was forgot about it, but yeah. So I've been with the company for 2 years now, over 2.5 years, I guess it is. I left Apple and I was looking for my next thing to do. I think I can say I was with Apple.
Yeah,
Anyway, and so I reached out to her and told her I'd love to work with her, and yeah, I'm working with her.
that's amazing.
So yeah, I'm COO of the company, but she's the CEO. I'm COO. It's just a title, and uh, doesn't really mean that I run everything, but I do a lot of things. and she's given me a lot of like ability to like explore things that I've always really wanted to do in my life, such as design. And as you know, I had a accessories company, and fashion was really my biggest thing that I've
Yes.
always wanted to do with my
Yes.
life, and I'm finally doing it. So we're doing swimwear. We're branching out into more cover ups and more resort
Resort
wear.
wear. Yeah.
Um, so it's been a lot of work. It's been rewarding. It's been the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, because we've had to like work remotely, and
Right.
like I started during COVID,
Right.
but it's coming together really
That's
nicely
so
now. We have
great.
a new headquarters that we just moved
In
into.
Calabasas.
It's in Calabasas. We're excited. We're doing a lot of really fun things. So stay tuned to that. You can visit us at, can I put a plug in?
Please.
Swiminista.com. That's SWIM, like you're swimming, INISTA.com. Swiminista. So it's a merge. She merged her love of swimwear and fashion together. Fashionista swimwear. So it's Swiminista. Check it out.
Please check it out. And I'm just so proud of Andrea and you and the crew that you guys are working with, because I know it's challenging to start a new company.
Yeah.
And I just I'm in for the ride, because I've seen the process of just her idea
Hmm.
to paper, pen and paper, to now it's actually happening. And you guys have had shows and trunk shows. You guys have been to Colombia to meet
Yeah.
your manufacturers, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing it. They went to Florida for other shows. They Andrea works a lot in Hawaii, and does work there. And so you guys are making it work. Please check out their Instagram too, because you can see all the people they've interviewed, the models, their designs, the fabrics, the textiles. I mean, it's going to be big, Devin.
It's big. It's like one little brick at a time. That Rome wasn't built in the day,
No, it
right?
wasn't.
So, and I don't have any patience. Like I'm the person that has no patience in the world, and I expect came in the first year and I thought we're gonna do a
Right.
million. We're gonna do $1 million this year. It takes time
It takes
to
time.
do that. So,
Like you said, Rome wasn't built in the day,
hmm
so you got to have patience building a brand new company
yeah,
from
you
the
do.
very beginning,
Very beginning.
very beginning. And
Hmm.
I think you guys are doing
Thank
fabulous.
you.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
very
you.
proud of both of you.
That we appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm so glad. So I want to say thank you all for watching us and listening to us today. You're going to be able to watch the show on YouTube, as well as listen to the show on all the podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio, Radio Public, and Spotify, and also Amazon Music. So please make sure you follow us. Make sure you give us a like, give us a comment. What do you guys want us to talk about next on the next show? This is the new season. We're in season 4. This is our episode 54. And follow us or email us some ideas. Our email address is abroadproductions@gmail.com. Our Instagram is a broad podcast, and also we are on Threads, which is under QueenShanShan. So follow us. We also have a Facebook fan page as well, and we really want to thank you guys for being patient, because I've been asked, when am I going to restart the show? When am I going to restart the show? So thank you again for asking me and keeping tabs on me. And make sure you follow us. And we're going to be back very, very soon with a new episode. So, as always, thank you for watching Abroad.